Spartacus has spoken, and he has a clear plan to cut crime in the United States of America. He's going to legalize marijuana, cut sentencing for drug crimes, ban religious and racial profiling, and what's left? He's going to go after law-abiding American citizens who choose to exercise their Second Amendment rights. Find out more on today's AK Show. I'm Alex A.K. Kincaid, coming back after a brief break from the 3F Words channel. We've been very busy restoring gun rights for citizens in the state of Idaho. We have also organized a horse rescue for veterans, and we have selected the winner of the 2018 Alex Kincaid Law Scholarship, where we are sending America's conservative and Second Amendment loving youth to college. If you're interested in any of these causes, please feel free to check them out. The links are in our description. And I'm so happy to be back today because I watch all this insanity that comes out on the internet, and I really have a need to comment and help people understand who may not understand as much as you and I. So what's happened in the last couple of months? We are just seeing more and more presidential candidates coming out of the woodwork. Cory Booker caught my eye, not because I think he's a viable candidate or will actually win the election, but because he decided that he's going to step in and propose the most sweeping gun control ever proposed by a presidential candidate in the United States of America. And of course, you know I would have to comment on something like that. You know, the biggest thing that came out of this proposal was the suggestion that licensing people before they own a gun is somehow going to affect our crime rate. We know it isn't. Licensing doesn't make any difference. It's a joke. It's all about gun control. It's about a hate of our country. It's about an agenda to win a campaign. It has absolutely nothing to do, especially if you look at the statistics put out by the FBI itself, absolutely nothing to do with crime and crime rates and affecting crime rates. Why? Because we know that the criminals steal their guns. They are not going to go and get a freaking license. So, you know, he's proposing these new restrictions on us as law-abiding gun owners, the people who are out there protecting ourselves, taking responsibility to protect ourselves and our families, and very often protecting other people in the process as well. But you know, what's going to be left? The criminals with the guns is what's going to be left after this plan. So he's got, in addition to the gun licensing, and by the way, his program would include the FBI running a background check when you apply for your license. The FBI is currently 2.5 years behind on processing applications to clear up incorrect background checks by people who shouldn't be denied the ability to purchase a gun right now. 2.5 years behind. People are waiting to get cleared so that they can exercise their Second Amendment rights. And this proposal is that every one of us would have to get a license and have a background check done just to have a firearm in our possession. So, nonsense. He's also got a number of loopholes that he's addressing. The so-called boyfriend loophole. Somehow, you know, we need to make it harder for people who are dating and have engaged in some kind of violent contact to have a gun. There's the Charleston loophole, which is, of course, universal background checks for any kind of a gun transfer. He wants more funding for research, to research gun violence as a public health issue. He wants all handguns micro-stamped, claiming that if we know where a shell came from, which firearm, it's going to help us solve crime. He wants to limit, and this one was really funny, limit us to purchasing one handgun a month. And he claims this is essential because traffickers buy firearms, handguns, in bulk in states with weak gun laws and resell them in states with stricter rules. So these criminals are suddenly going to start obeying the law if we say you can only have one handgun a month. How does this make any sense? It doesn't. He's going to continue to ramp up funding for more community-based violence intervention programs, increased trauma support for survivors and communities impacted by gun violence. And he's going to take executive action to build on ongoing efforts and take concrete steps forward, closing dangerous loopholes in gun sales, cracking down on unscrupulous dealers and gun manufacturers, and investing in communities impacted by gun violence. So, money, microstamping. Also, this is a big one too. He's going to end the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. So, in other words, gun manufacturers can be sued by victims of crime. And we all know what that would bring. It would bring the end of our gun manufacturers, which of course is what they're after. So the only thing that Spartacus has not addressed in all of these proposals is how he's going to get criminals to comply with them. And of course, we know that's not going to happen. So why am I even mentioning him? Why are we giving this any discussion? Why are we addressing it? Because it is ridiculous, and I wanted to comment on the ridiculousness of it. But more so because it's a lie. And it's up to you and I to share the truth. We can't look the other way. We have to stay vigilant. We're living in a world where America's youth doesn't even understand why or how World War II started. They're arguing with us about whether or not Hitler was a socialist. It's crazy times. History is not being taught in schools. And if we are going to make sure that the truth is out there, we can't just laugh at this stuff. We find it laughable, but it's very serious. These people hate our country, and they are spelling the end of the United States of America and our freedom. So read, share, discuss, and try to help educate, especially our youth, about the importance of the Second Amendment. As always, thank you for watching. I'm Alex A.K. Kincaid, your Second Amendment attorney.
This is Alex A.K. Kincaid, and thank you for watching The AK Show.